Hey everybody, the other day when I was doing the Lego City overview, I didn't get any drone footage, so here you go, a little bit of drone footage for you. Today we're going to continue working on the hill that we just passed by there, this midsection, where we're going to be building all of these hills and mountainous sort of territory. It doesn't look that good, of course. We haven't really started working on it, so it's just like a bunch of mills plates, but I want to continue working on this area in the future just because I think if we can get this all looking pretty good, even if it's just like the rough draft, like the little mountain that you see in front of Ninjago there, I think it's really going to help just elevate the look of the city in general. But hey, it's all just one day at a time here in the studio. Now you'll see there's a tunnel entrance right there just behind the Quickie Mart, and then there's another tunnel entrance on the other side, right beside this gorgeous hill that we have with all of the trees. So there's actually a section there which has a width of about 80 studs, I think, that isn't developed. And you can see there's a little wood structure there, and that's where that tunnel is going to pop out. The hill beside it, it looks pretty good, but then there's just that wood structure, which is topped with some 48 by 48 mills plates, and also a skeleton structure for the potential hill or mountain that's going to sit beside it, which is, of course, the 16 by 16 Technic panels with those supports underneath. So yeah, today in this video, I want to try and further develop this area. It's going to be a little bit tricky. It's not like our standard mountain because, of course, there's a tunnel that's passing underneath it, and it's going to involve a road, and I've got some pretty interesting ideas. I'm sort of getting the hang of flying this drone. It's a bit jittery at times, but I'm really excited about developing this section of the Lego City right there. It just looks incomplete, and I think that's just going to pull that whole area together. You know, we did the residential area, also the botanical garden, and the zoo, and I think the next phase of developing this area should definitely involve developing the road, which is going to pass through and connect to the different tunnel entrances. So the first thing that I had to figure out was the alignment of the road, which passes underneath the residential area and will connect to this tunnel entrance. So I extended a bunch of the 16 by 16 road plates all the way through. And as you can see, they line up right here, which is actually offset a little bit by 8 studs. So it's not like a half or full base plate. But we've got 48 by 48 studs right here to work with. The issue is this is coming pretty close to this wood support, which is supporting the wood structure. So I'm thinking about scrapping the wood platform altogether and just brick building this, because that's how we built the entire hill or mountain that sits beside it. However, that's going to use a lot of parts, and this is sort of going to be different because there's a tunnel passing underneath it, and that tunnel is right on the edge. And of course, I need to fully support the Technic panels underneath using Technic connectors or this type of connector. So maybe I should stick with the wood platform, but then those wood legs are sort of in the way. Gotta give it some thought, everybody. Okay, I regrouped the base plates. We've got a massive one right here, which is going to be 3 base plates by 2.5 base plates. It's going to accommodate an angled road and also the tunnel entrance. This one here is going to be underground, so this is going to support the structure, which is going to support the mountainous terrain on top, so we're going to have to come up with that. And then this one here is just going to be a blending plate. It's going to be mountainous terrain that's going to go up against that one there and sort of blend in with that mountainous top. I've got our standard road here. This is just 16 by 16 plate, lifted up 1 plate off the base plate. And then we've got another 16 by 16 right here. With the road extenders, I've got to build the road extenders. It's going to be 48 studs. 1 brick, 1 plate, 1 tile, held in place by the Technic bricks, leaving the open spaces there open so we can create like a roughed up road, which is going to match the countryside. And I built the angled road. How did I do that? I just used some slopes. You can see the panel that I built there. Uses the 1 by 2 by 2 tall slopes and all the panels, and it just gives us a nice angle when it lines up with this section of road. And then I built the exact same thing for this side over here, and actually could hold it in place with the snot brick, and it sort of lines up quite nicely like that there. Should be a angled road. Of course, we've got to tack everything down still, and of course frame it as well. So rather than using the road extenders, I decided to extend the road, the 2 studs on this section of road, just by using tile and plate. And once we lay the tiles down on the base plate and place this on top, it's going to get us to the same height. I think the floating road concept is going to work quite well. I can just lock it in later with various bricks and like wedge plates that'll blend it in at that angle. This is my first time ever building a angled road. I think this is the right concept. All right, so next up, completed this road here, the road extenders. So it's 20 studs wide, and then just mills plated it in there. And then I realized, well, for no longer running with the wood structure, I can actually merge these plates. So then this section is only 2 modules. So I think that just makes more sense. And the tunnel is going to be inset 7 studs. So we've got 2x6 bricks there. Along the top, we have these 8x8 plates, and there's a Technic beam running across, and we're going to have to run the Technic structure across as well. Probably just going to use 2 of these, so 32x32, to create the roof of our tunnel, get those all pinned together nicely there. But this is the same tunnel design. It uses the modified plates with the rail, some of the 1x2x2 and 2/3 snot bricks with the forward-facing stud, you know what I mean, and then the tiles on the face, like that. And in between that is the rail elements, and of course that's going to match the tunnel entrance on the other side, which I think makes sense. All right, check it out. We've got this reinforced tunnel built, so no need for wood, and it could actually be smaller, so we're going to have more space out front for all the rock work, which is good, like smaller than that wood platform. And it's supported just using 1x16 bricks, which bridge between the different supports. And those go into the bottom of the Technic panels, which are all pinned together. And there you go. We've got a pretty big surface so that we can blend in this rock work. And of course, it's going to be like right here as well. So this will be like a bulge coming out. But then this is all going to be just sort of low terrain right here. Now this will be a bit tricky. I mentioned this tunnel is pretty close to the other section of mountain there. There's only 8 studs. So we're going to have to get pretty aggressive, as I like to say, with like slopes. So this is just like a little mini draft, but something like that for the first short while there all the way along. And then we'll have to build out sort of where you see the dark bluish gray there. That's where the mountain is going to be. But did I even feature the angled road? It's blended in there pretty well. Ran into some roadblocks in regards to using the wedge plates just because this angle doesn't line up perfectly with the wedge plates that we have, but we were able to inset it within the mills plate, and instead of doing the tiles underneath, we did plates, and that allowed us to blend in with green along the edge. We've got a pretty nice angle there. This was actually built up. Let me just pop this out so you can see the road plate. So it just sort of sits in there. It sits on top of plates. And then we have this, which we actually built up a little bit as well, just by adding a plate and a tile on the back side. So we actually put some studs not on top bricks in there. And then we added a plate on the bottom just to make it fit nicely in there. And then this just wedges between those 2 angled sections perfectly. And we added some tile just because you could see some of the base plate underneath. But you just sort of wedge this in here. And I wanted to feature that before we finish doing all our blending work because some of the plate might overlap a little bit and then it'll sort of be locked in there for good. You know, there's probably lots of different ways of doing angled roads, but I think this one here works for our countryside, and I think this road system blends in nicely with the tunnel there. Behold, our mess. Hey, it's coming along great though. Look at that. You can barely see the Technic panels and all the supports. This rock wall here is doing a pretty good job of concealing it. Look at all those slopes. That is 100% slope built. Man, I should build all my mountains like that. You know how many parts that takes? It is insane when you consider all of the inverted slopes, tall slopes, all those different things, and then all of the support brick around the back too. Like, it is solid back there. But we had such little space to work with, like so few studs, so it had to go up vertical, and had to go vertical fast in a very short distance. So we integrated a bunch of the inverted slopes into it. Look at that. Now I'm just going through here and getting the rock panels inserted because we can't build like that all the time. We would run out of slopes so quickly. I mean, we have a lot of slopes, but this uses so many, and we have a lot of mountains to build. So I like using a combination of both techniques. But I came in here with the rock panels, gave it a unique design or a unique shape, and I supported it underneath with all sorts of panels, bricks, and I like bridging across with like the 1x16s. So under here, for example, you'll see 1x16s on top of those 1x6x5 panels. And it's all supported. Let me just rip apart everything that I did to show you. It's all supported under there. Just creating a little flat, and I just need to go through with all of those slopes and everything now and continue along here. So for example, just placing them individually, you had a slope of brick behind it and then a taller slope and just sort of blending it in. And then once we get to the top, we'll try and frame it all together, like hold it all together at the top somehow. And also we'll have to change up some of the design along the edge here, just so it matches. If these rocks come up and over, then they can come down the other side. But I think it looks cool, right? Like that's unique. It's got a interesting shape to it there. You know what we're eventually gonna do? We're gonna have light bluish gray brick and masonry brick going the entire span of the tunnel. And maybe, just maybe, I'll put some like strip lights or something in there, and we'll leave some holes within the brick and the light will be shining through, or I'll just get like a light kit and put lights throughout the tunnel. Wouldn't that be neat? Because you could peer through it and see like all the vehicles. Maybe we could even have some like homeless people hanging out in there or something. Add some stories, you know? Yeah, but this is the tunnel. It's intact and working, so that's fantastic. Definitely better than wood. It's all done with Lego. And look at that. We added some detail to the road. This matches the other section of gravel road in front of the zoo there. Just added some miscellaneous pieces like plate, quarter round tiles, curved slopes, all different colors. And we also added some more tile along the edge. And we changed all of this mill's work here to dark gray. I'm sorry, from dark gray to green. I just think that looks a little bit better. It was blending in quite a bit with the road, and there's actually not going to be a mountain here. The mountain is actually going to start over here. So it's recessed and it's going to go up toward that residential area. Sort of hard to visualize on this table, but there is the residential area right here. There's approximately 16 studs of road, which is just like flat. That looks pretty dangerous there. It's like at regular height, and then it starts to grade downwards. So we're gonna have to place this there and see how to do the rock work on top of the tunnel, but this is quite well supported, so it should be able to support the rock work. But before I do that, and before I figure out how to make this corner work on top of the tunnel, I really need to figure out how we're gonna go up here and what height this is gonna be at, because I think that's pretty important. I think it's gonna bulge out like so, and then sort of turn, because this is where we have the access point. You can see the access point is actually right here, all the way along. That's why we made the underlying brick solid green along the edge, and it's also dark gray. And then we have one base plate up into the raised platform. So I think this is going to be all elevated here too, so we can actually extend the residential area, and we can have maybe another row of buildings up along here. I was discussing having a potential like mansion up top here. You put like a really nice house up here, sort of looking down into the countryside. That would be pretty ballin', right? That would be pretty cool. But in order to do that, I need to think about this rock work and how it's going to go up and where the flat spot is going to be for this potential house. So I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves in regards to building that until we, figure out what we're going to do. But I'm really happy with the outcome of the road. Did a bunch more blending along the edge with slopes, cheese slopes, all sorts of plate in there, wedge plates, all that, just to try and blend it in a little bit. And I think it definitely looks a lot better. Yeah, we decided to integrate the road right into the mills. Maybe it should have been on top of the mills, but I think that works. I wanted to try and do something different, and I think that angle is pretty sweet. And then all this rock work looks incredible. This stuff over here is pretty much done, but we have some available studs, and we're going to put some different colors on that along with some vegetation. Then all of this rock work along here needs to be fully detailed with the slopes, just like we did in our zoo and all of our other different rock work out throughout the entire countryside there, like over here. So yeah, we need to just create all this and then also create that, and then decide what we're going to put here and also decide what we're going to put on top on the other side of the residential. But I'm excited about the tunnel. Peering through will be so cool. Got to decide if we're going to put a wall on either side, and also if we're going to create like Mills plate, road plates connecting all the way through. I think that's a detail that we need to do. It seems like a waste of road plates and base plates and all the parts to create roads, but I think when you peer through those, or through the tunnel, and you see it connecting through the other side and you actually see vehicles in there, it's going to be super neat. But there you go. That's day number 1 of us working on completing that massive hill section with a tunnel and some different rock work and an angled road too. We hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great stuff coming out in the near future, and have yourselves a great day. Bye for now.